Postal 2's hardest difficulty is a challenge for the bold or the insane. Ludicrous bares its teeth in a number of ways. All NPCs are hostile and extremely well equipped. Player healing is lessened, and the maximum ammo you can carry is halved. But every dawn promises a plethora of new weapons, new power-ups, and new challenges for us to grind our face against. With 3 wins marked on our calendar, we march into Thursday. To recap, Monday got our feet wet, the death count was high, but the smaller scale made it easier to slide into the week. Tuesday and Wednesday both expanded the map significantly, but the new challenges are matched by the growing insight and accessible weaponry. Thursday raises the stakes, with 4 errands scattered deep throughout the bowels of paradise.
Those weeds are getting pretty tall.
Arizona's foliage is becoming a thorn in the side of Postal Dude, and the only logical way to combat it is by taking a trip to the local napalm factory.
Ah, Crotchy, the hottest new toy this year.
The dolls are so popular that we'll have to fight the Gonad Gladiator himself and scour the mall's backrooms to secure one.
And stakes for the Psychotic Friends Network barbecue.
A quick trip to Meat World to grab some grub.
But how much trouble can I get into at a police station?
And finally, shoot down to the local cop shop to tend to a parking ticket.
And ready? Go.
Starting the day proper, we have dynamite. Check. Pistols. Check. Kevlar? The standard Kevlar is replaced with a twice as effective silicone carbide body armor. Hopping a few houses across to the health pipe dealership and repeat the same strat from Wednesday to grab the grenades and other goodies. Move through the load zone outside, take out the enemies along the side of the house, and take damage on this cactus by mistake, before going into the next area. From here, we need to get into the police station. The main road has little cover and is rife with enemies, so a less direct strategy is preferable. Taking another page out of Frostomator X's playbook, we'll use this house to the left as a bottleneck. Fire a few shots to get the group's attention, and then kick this cardboard box into the doorway so none can pass through it. This keeps the tide of NPCs at bay and allows us to safely take them out one by one. After that, use the same box to climb onto the roof and then leap over the barbed wall. The tree near the back has a few more sticks of dynamite, so grab them and then head inside. With the 2 clerks insisting Postal Dude can't pay his ticket here, we'll have to head up to the pinnacle of the police station to find a drop box. The first door leads to the evidence room, which has 3 health pipes. Health pipes can be a great means of getting you extra vitality to make it through the day. But remember, you need to be wary of withdrawal. Forgetting a dose will reduce your health to 25% of its current value, so it's important to wait until after these effects have taken place before trying to get help. Despite the seemingly endless number of officers that roam the halls, the police station is actually one of the easier areas relative to the opposition. Without going into the minute layout of the entire station, just know that the many dozens of rooms are worth exploring. There is an abundance of bass sniffers, plenty of food items to top up your health, and on the first floor, there is free Kevlar, cleverly disguised as 2 SWAT guys.
Ooh, edged weapon. Someone could lose a limb. Yeah.
Just before the stairway to the second level, we'll pass by the armory, the door to which is locked. The key is a little unconventional, as it's actually a police uniform that grants access, which can be found on the top level in the locker room. After grabbing the attire, be sure to plunder the many lockers for extra ammo, cash, and medicinals. Head to the end of the hall, deposit the citation, and check off the first item on today's itinerary.
And another one bites the dust.
Back on the first floor, don your cop costume if you haven't already, and be granted access to the Garden of Ludicrous Delights. Be sure to make one final stop in the evidence locker. Even if your health is at its maximum, you should still use a pipe before leaving to reset the timer on your withdrawals. Now outside, continue across the grassy area, shielded from the many enemies on the street by these walls, and head for this load zone next to this little store. The short gap between the cover of the fence and the next map will leave you quite exposed, but using the bass sniffer until the closest enemies are moving away from the area should help. The start of this next zone is truly malicious. You spawn in this tunnel with no cover, a bounty of enemies in front of you. Both available directions lead to wide open roads, and to really twist the knife, crossing out of the tunnel will spawn a cop right behind you. Very cool. After testing a few different strategies, the strongest was sticking hard to the right wall and using the sniper rifle, even scoring a rare triple kill. Move up the hill and into the first house, grabbing the free cat and any of the many health items if needed. From here, the entrance to the next objective is just up this set of stairs and across the road. While a safer strategy would be baiting this group around the corner or using the abundance of explosives at our disposal. If you're feeling extremely lucky, you could approach from the road.
And now you're all gonna pay.
Entering Meat World, the store is unattended,
How about some service over here?
so Dude decides he'll venture into the belly of the beast to find the finest cuts.
They probably keep him in the back room. I'll bet that door is unlocked.
The end of this cutscene leaves you in a rather vulnerable position, but we can preempt it by inching up to the door and then tossing a stick of dynamite where the butchers will spawn. Just like the rednecks on Wednesday, this stops the dialogue and saves us the hassle of fighting them. Grab the grenades in the back corner of this first room, then climb atop these boxes, hop onto this girder and grab the catnip.
Yeah, baby, I am the Lizard King.
The next few rooms, while disgusting, are mostly straightforward. Grab the Kevlar and ammo under the stairs and move into this room of crates. From here, there is one bunkered butcher, and then two more around the corner. Lob a couple of well-aimed grenades over the top of these crates to take out the first. Moving forward a little causes the second enemy to rush towards you, so use the scythe to take them out before they spot you. Then climb into the first butcher's space to sneak right up to the third and take them out safely. The next area is a long walkway overlooking the zone's entrance, and the lone distant enemy here is a problem solved by the sniper rifle. Something to be aware of on ludicrous difficulty is the limit to weapon carrying capacity. With many weapon categories, you can't hold every type of weapon. Explosives, for instance, are limited to 2. You can carry grenades and dynamite, but not Molotov cocktails as well. This unfortunate handicap means that it is here we must depart with our dearly beloved sledgehammer. The very thing that made Tuesday possible has served us well and is now being retired. In its stead, we'll place the machete. The machete is fast, deadly. It can be thrown, and it will fly gracefully through the air, separating heads, arms, and legs, after which it returns to the player's hand. In the next room, once the enemies are cleared, be sure to jump up onto these crates as they're open on the top, and have a look for any more free goodies. This thing is so powerful, it was nerfed in the latest patch, and it still has no problem turning enemies into a fine red mist. In the next room, we'll find the prime cuts we're looking for.
And done.
This will alert the authorities though. SWAT units and police will rush the entrance and flood the building. Given the response, you'd think stealing meat is the biggest crime we've committed today. They start taking up defensive positions, undoing all of our hard work in clearing out the meat world to begin with. But before picking up the stakes, I took a precaution. With some careful planning, place dynamite and grenades at specific points throughout the entirety of Meat World. A few here, a sprinkle there, and a whole boatload at the door, right where enemies are set to spawn. And now we grab the meat and enjoy the fireworks. Back outside, slide down the stairs and into the house across from Meat World. Grab the health pack in the bathroom and launch through the glass onto the roof of the building next door. Move slowly and pick up the cat, and then head in through the window. Delete the enemies inside and then go through this door on the right, where we'll push up on this bookcase to reveal a secret room. The chainsaw fills the same slots as the gasoline and flamethrower. Disregard the deodorant to make space for it, as enemies don't bother to stop shooting when on fire. Exit the building and move towards this alleyway that runs between these houses. The narrow nature of this spot means that both enemy density and the chances of friendly fire are both quite high. Once everything's dead, head back up the stairs and move along this wall until we reach this secret area. A diseased cow head on an altar. Burned bodies. A scorched cat that doesn't run scared. There's also a piranha plugin for the Bat Sniffer, which displays when enemies on the radar are carrying weapons. A redundant feature on ludicrous difficulty. Jumping out of this bloodied grove, move down the side of this concrete alley and bottleneck every enemy in earshot to clear the road. Use the sniper rifle to pick off any remainders, and then it's a straight shot to the load zone. Dropping 2 dervish cats and dual-wielding in a panic was effective enough of a strategy to get access to the convenience store, which contains enough donuts to undo any damage from the last fight. Head into the lot with the police cars and watch out for the guard dogs, as they can actually catch a thrown machete. Move down the side of the workshop, pop in and grab the sick body armor, and then head back to the street. From here, we can safely snipe the redneck on the corner and then access the next load zone without issue. Loading in presented the reoccurring problem of having no cover, with lots of enemies in a wide open space. To make matters worse, the nearest 2 had a sawed-off shotgun and a nuke. A quick dance with the machete to defuse the situation and hustle down these stairs towards the bank. Now, here was a bit of a crossroad. I knew venturing into the greenbelt zones to get the napalm would take longer and be harder purely by the fact that it's unexplored territory. So I started making my way back towards the suburbs, following routes from the previous day, intending to go up to the mall first and decide on how to approach the factory later. I fought my way past the bank, even stocking up on ammo with this vending machine, carved a path through the suburbs, and got past the Lucky Ganesh. But seeing the same areas felt weak. Like shying away from the danger and the unknown was robbing both myself and the very handsome audience of the real ludicrous experience. So I reloaded the last save outside the convenience store and headed for the green belt. This time, the game was gracious enough to have the enemies not spawn directly in front of the map's entrance. Slinking along the side of the asylum, we've got a few enemies to clear from the road, but using a heat-seeking rocket cleared the majority, and the sawed-off dealt with what remained. The luck with what happened next was unprecedented. A mini nuke was fired. It moves in a straight line towards Dude, who is moving diagonally away. The nuke hits the rock wall that has this tiny edge and explodes. Seemingly regardless of this, the road from here to the next area is completely empty, and walking through there is a rare moment of peace. From this bridge, we have a pretty clear line of sight to the next section we need to pass through. 12 shots left on the sniper rifle is enough to shut down any threats before they're even aware of you, though I did waste 1 bullet here. Grab the medkit on this crate and progress along the road, through the factory gates, up the stairs, and inside. The Napalm Factory is another fairly straightforward area, a lovely industrial interior, dotted with cops and scientists that wander in fairly predictable patterns. Use the acrobatics skill to hop between these 2 railings and grab the Kevlar and rocket launcher. Continue cutting through everything in your path until you reach the napalm launcher in the back and enjoy another disaster-laden cutscene. Fluids don't mix well with electronics, and this causes a chain reaction that turns the entire factory into a whirling inferno. With a klaxon horn in our ears and fire all around, it's time to depart. There is a plume of flame directly ahead of us on this walkway. If you're using the pro strats, you can avoid this by jumping down to the left, hopping along these pipes, and crouch jumping to these stairs to avoid the pool below. After that, you can actually jump past this fallen tube that blocks the doorway you came in through. As this is an unintended area of play, there is 0 threat between here and the exit. Otherwise, walk straight through the fire, turning some of your remaining health into ash, and then scale these lava dumpsters and climb into the vents. Going straight will thankfully lead to a small brick room with a bunch of medkits.
Withdrawal's a bitch.
Another small platforming section here where you move across pipes suspended above a pit. In fact, this whole section escaping the factory is purely environmental dangers, which are a welcome change of pace. No swarming shotgunners, no nukes, just jumping fires in a collapsing building. Finally, we'll find the only non-hostile NPC in the game who valiantly waves you along before plunging into the whirlpool below. This dumps us in a small waterway, just outside the factory. From here, we need to move up through these 2 buildings towards the train track. Unfortunately, there was yet another nuke launcher wandering the area, with 0 regard for collateral damage, but let it be known that you can, in fact, reflect nuclear warheads by kicking them. the best bet is to try and goad the nuke into a position where, when it explodes, you are shielded from the blast. This is easier said than done. After many attempts, success. Dual sawn-offs to clean up, and utilize this small building to draw in any left in the area. I know I made a whole song and dance before about taking unique routes, but fuck it. The area with this clinic is hard, plus we'll go through there on Friday anyway. Going through this load zone will land us back in the train yard. This time though, purely tanking damage is off the table, because there's a secret item to grab here. Blast through everything in your path, heading down to this small fuel station. Then use these exterior boxes to get onto the roof to get a small resupply of sniper rifle ammo. Head back to the loading dock and have a health pipe party inside this box truck. Then use this boon gate to jump onto this booth, then back onto the fence and onto the roof. Carefully move up to the edge with the wall and do a tiny jump maneuver to the second part of the roof to grab our fourth new weapon of the day, the beta shotgun.
Only my weapon understands me.
An upgrade to the standard shotgun with a special double shot alt fire, and is the only weapon in the base game that needs reloading. Collecting this was far from necessary, but I felt like it was worth including as part of the run, sort of a rite of passage. Now the pro strats from here would be to head up into this car park and utilize this entrance into the mall as it leads directly to Crotchy and the next errand. Retracing the path from Tuesday and heading towards the mall through the back alley, take out the health pipe salesman and then head up the stairs into the west wing of the mall. The smoke shop on the top floor has a health pipe amongst the hookahs and lava lamps. Jump down from the balcony, enter the vent, and move through the crawl space. Both paths lead to stores that are still under construction, one with a bunch of explosives, the other with sick armor, a sawed-off shotgun, sniper ammo, and a health pipe, amongst other things. Move out of the vent and into the pet store, saving any cats you can along the way. Head through the back area and fight through the food court until finally arriving outside the toy store. On lower difficulties, Crotchy will accept a trade for an autographed copy of Gary Coleman's new book if you happen to pick up an extra copy on Tuesday. He will also accept all of the money in your inventory,
How much do you want for it?
no matter how little or how much.
Bitch, you got yourself a deal.
Thanks.
Here, obviously, Crotchy is hostile, just like everyone else, and there's no pushover, with over 600 health and an immunity to bullets. Once again, explosives save the day. Build a small mound of grenades and dynamite before drawing Crotchy into its clutches. Entering the back of the building will trigger another cutscene, but we can repeat the Meat World strat of tossing dynamite before it starts to gain the advantage. The path leading down is fairly easy. Grab the medkits behind these crates and take out a few enemies at the bottom. With the area cleared, place all of the remaining grenades that you have before heading down to the truck and grab the Crotchy grenades. Grab the doll and watch the police storm the building again. Fighting through them should be familiar at this point, and we're geared well enough to deal with these encounters. Between the grenade traps, double sawed-off shotguns, sniper rifle, scythe, and cats, the opposition is becoming less and less insurmountable. Please ignore the death counter at the end of the video. Crawling back out of the mall and heading through the load zone finishes the day. And there it is. Thursday ups the ante with more straight shooting segments, but is broken up nicely with some platforming and some lovely environmental design. Simply comment Friday if you'd like to see another installment, and I'd like to thank all of the extremely strong members contributing to this channel. They saw this video early, and you can too for just $2 a month.